Hello, welcome to Twin Bill podcast, where twins talk about whatever they want to talk about, which ends up being a movie. In this case, two movies. It's Halloween season, as you've probably heard to death this month, and we're going to talk about the scariest thing of all, an easily palatable franchise of Disney films designed for small children.
Yep.
Hocus Pocus.
Do the
Uh,
thing.
So we'll get into a lot of things about the two current Hocus Pocus franchises. Maybe at the end we'll talk about the fact that Disney is already working on the third one apparently. But
God help
I don't know a
us.
lot of details on that. But uh so yeah, let's just I guess get into it because we got a lot of plot to overanalyze. So Hocus Pocus is a 1993 uh film. I believe it's a television movie. Is that right?
From what I could tell, it's actually uh released in theaters because it has a $28 million budget, and their Wikipedia article is box office numbers. So I think it's not a straight to Disney Channel movie.
Okay. Uh, I mean, we'll get into the cast as we go along, but I guess we could preface a little bit. Hocus Pocus is about the Sanderson sisters, a trio of female witches. I guess if the word witch implies female. Uh, let's see if I can remember. I cannot, but got Winifred Sanderson,
Yep.
played by Bette Midler with the buck teeth. Kathy, then Jimmy as the silly one named.
She's kind of like Bill Murray from Caddyshack. She goes like this is like, hey, hey,
Yeah,
gungula, gungula.
they got similar chops comedically. I ain't gonna knock Kathy and Jimmy. Peggy Hill herself. What's the character name?
Mary.
That's right. And then, in the very, to me, odd turn, Sarah Jessica Parker as the incredibly sexy young witch.
She's kind of dumb. That's kind of her.
She's very dumb. They're all somewhat dumb, but she's like dopey.
Air,
What was her name?
airhead, yeah.
What was her character name?
Very creatively. Her name is Sarah.
Sarah. I'm sure there's a lot of overlap between this movie and Starship, but uh, so let's get into it. I think those are the top of the bill stars. I don't, there's a bunch of other cast members, but we'll get into that. Uh, okay, let's just do it. So we kick off in old-timey Salem, Massachusetts. We get a protagonist that stops being the protagonist in like 2 minutes, named Thackeray Binks. Here's my one trivia question for this entire episode. I don't know if you looked it up. Thackeray Binks was a footnote in this movie. His voice was actually replaced by Jason Marsden, but the actor who played Thackeray Binks later became famous. Do you know why?
I did look it up. I went through I did study for the podcast. Uh, I assume you're referring to, he's been on NCIS from the beginning. I think he's still on it.
Yeah, he plays the blonde passes for a nerd on NCIS, but he's not very nerdy. Yeah.
He's
So
not as cool as Mark Harmon.
Zachary Banks is a kid in Salem, and it's kind of this is probably the spookiest aspect of the movie in the franchise, really, because his sister Emily, played by Amanda Shepard, who did nothing after this. Kid
Mm.
actors stay kids. She's hypnotized and walking to the Sanderson house, and Thackeray's friends like, "Hey, don't follow her. She's just gonna be killed by the witches." But Thackeray is a good brother, and he's like, "I gotta go save my sister." By the way,
We see-
go ahead.
Oh. Well, he says, I'll go, you round up everyone else and meet me up there. And it takes forever for anyone else to get there.
Yes. Thackeray is betrayed multiple times, as we'll get into in a second. But guest star, since it's the witch episode, the self-professed evil witch of the Hello Kitty universe, it's Kuromi. All right. Uh, so yeah, Thackeray Binks goes to the Sanderson house. It's not that far from where they live, apparently.
Which makes less sense, even less sense that it took so long for everyone else to get there.
Yeah. So he goes in the house. It looks like he has a chance to do something good because he like tips over their cauldron, which is a gimmick that's done. I feel like a lot of times in in these movies, but uh, tips over the cauldron is like, maybe not. But the girl's soul is sucked out of her body and she dies. And then the witches capture Thackeray, and they instead of killing him for some reason, like the sister, I guess because it's a boy. I don't know why they didn't kill him, but they turned him into a cat. Looked like Salem from the Sabrina the Teenage Witch,
I
which came
guess
out.
it's because,
Finish my sentence.
sorry,
Archie comics came out like 20 years before this movie came out, at least. So, still a rip off, even if it was before the TV show. What were we saying?
I was going to say that I think they let Thackeray live and turn into a cat because Emily gives them enough life to give them make them
Yeah,
eternally young or whatever,
yeah.
just to sort of torture Thackeray.
Something that becomes more evident with this watching the sequel. I liked how the Sandersons were like very clearly evil with an evil plan that's not good because it made the movie really streamlined, as we'll get into, and the sequel struggled trying to add depth to the characters. We'll get there in the sequel. Okay, just want to mention that now. So the good guys, the Puritans, they're not that good, but Thackeray's parents and the rest of the Salem witch trial people show up, and the Sandersons are hung, which I thought was pretty cool for a Disney movie that they actually did get moited.
Yeah.
And the the magic book, which becomes a bigger character later on in many ways, but opens up at Winifred's feet, and Winifred makes a spell. I don't remember if the spell was delineated fully here, but basically it's like the Sandersons may die, but they can come back when a virgin lights the something something
Just
candle.
black flame candle.
Yeah.
It's a term they use in both movies.
So we cut to modern day Salem, Mass, and I'm going to say a lot of things in this movie are very clever because they are, but because they're talking about the Sanderson story in a direct cut, but it's more like a Halloween story. Like no one believes it, blah blah blah, and everyone in the class is really excited about how scary Halloween is, except
Right.
for what?
Speaking of trivia, did you recognize the teacher?
She's one of those actresses who's in a lot of kids movies. I mean,
She was also a couple decades before this a frequent collaborator of Jerry Lewis. I think you saw Ladies Man with Me.
I have to rewatch it. I don't know if I saw it all the way through, but not that I didn't like the movie or whatever. But
She's like the keeper of the house that Jerry Lewis and all the girls live in.
yeah. So all the kids in the class are like, oh, that's spooky story. Halloween's awesome, except for say the name.
What's his name? Crap.
It's not minimum.
Oh, it's Max.
Max, who is played by legitimately, possibly my favorite child actor of all time. His name's Omri Katz.
What else was
But
he in?
oh, I was gonna ask you, you don't know. He was on a very well regarded, short lived Joe Dante television show called Erie, Indiana.
Oh yeah, that's him.
Yep. He retired as a kid actor at a very young age, but he was in these two things and another Joe Dante movie, so greatest child actor of all time. I'm just calling it, but yeah, that's a bit of a stretch, but still. Anyway, uh, yeah, so Max is convinced the Halloween is like a lame hoax to get the candy, and he's from California. Marcus, how can you tell Max is a cool California kid in this scene?
Very specific question.
Something he's wearing.
It's not shoes, is it?
No, he's got a tie-dye shirt on, so of course he's from California.
Well,
Yeah, yeah. So he awkwardly, directly asks out this girl Allison. I don't know if you recognize her. She was apparently in Eyes Wide Shut randomly.
I was reading that, and I do remember her scene. There's a extended. Oh, maybe I'd be confusing her with Lily Sobieski.
Her name's Vanessa Shaw, the
I
actress.
know, but no, I think Vanessa Shaw's in more of Eyes Wide Shut than Lily Sobieski, and it's an extended limo ride because he picks up a prostitute on the way to the party, and then he leaves the prostitute behind on the way to the house where the big mask party happens.
Yeah.
She's also in the remake of uh The Hills Have Eyes.
And she's on Ray Donovan and 310 Yuma, two things I've never watched, but yeah, yeah.
I saw a big chunk of a remake of Hills Have Eyes. Okay.
So there's one particular scene I wanted to note because uh Allison's talking to Max and she's like, "Come on, Max, didn't you know Halloween's based on All Hallows Eve, the one day of the year where dead souls can come back to Earth?" And it gets an applause in the class.
I mean, it's Salem, Massachusetts. It
It's a
makes
hot
sense that
room.
Halloween's a very popular holiday in town.
It's a hot room for Halloween. I'm not gonna say it. Uh, and then oh yeah, and then do you remember what Max's pickup line is based on that? That the dead can come back to life.
I don't remember, but for a Disney movie, there's a couple
Okay, you know,
dirty jokes in this movie.
well,
But no, go
this
ahead.
one's not dirty. It's just contrived. He's like, if Jimi Hendrix comes back to life, call me at this number, and he gives her a handwritten note with his phone number on it, and she legitimately seems to like it, although she does playfully after school pretend to write a number down, and it's just his number back to him. So burn on you, Max. Burn. And then Max rides his bicycle home, and he is jumped by the best actors in the movie easily. uh, Jay and Ernie. But what's Ernie's nickname?
Ice, ice, baby, to go. Ice. Dun, 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 dun.
Okay, and then I want to point out a quick plot hole here because Jay and Ice harass uh, Max because he's from LA, but also they harass him because Max doesn't want to smoke cigarettes. But then why does Max have a military grade lighter?
I don't know.
This is weird.
He smokes weed instead. I don't know.
Smoke weed every day. Hocus Pocus. Uh, so okay, what did Jay and Ernie steal from Max? They're very uh sensible stealing.
He steals nice shoes.
There's cross trainers because dudes love cross trainers. I'm gonna,
Which
I could,
then
I could run, I could walk.
I'm probably gonna get to him excitedly, but Charles Rocket remarks, the mom goes, why are his shoes off? And then Charles Rocket's character goes, must be what the kids are up to these days, or something like that.
Oh yeah, I'll briefly mention Jay is played by Tobias Jelinek, who also did not act after this movie, basically. And Ice is played by a man named Larry Bagby, which sounds like an alias, but he had a small part in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and he's trying to be an actor, guitarist, vocalist. And I'm fairly certain him or his publicist wrote his Wikipedia page based on the way I read, but good for him. So yeah, you talked about already. I love Omri Katz. I also love his parents because Dave is played by my boy Charles Rocket. Rest in peace. Very tragic life ending. We don't need to get into. But uh, do you remember what year? I'll accept two answers. But what year of SNL Charles Rocket was the star of?
83 or something.
1980 to 1981. 1980 is the most commonly answered name. And then
Um,
he was in Dumb and Dumber. I'm not gonna trivia question about that, but he's the villain guy. Not a very
yeah.
good part for him, but yeah. And then even better, the mom is Stephanie Pharisee. Have you ever seen The Great Outdoors? Because she's in that, and the movie's amazing.
No.
John Candy, a lot sillier. John Hughes, not as baggage as he's like Breakfast Club or whatever. Highly recommend to audiences out there. Uh, what incredibly creepy thing does Max do when he goes upstairs to his room?
He I don't know if he uses like I can't remember if it's just
It's a
air or
pillow.
if he has something like a physical thing to pretend is his crush. And he starts making
It's just a green pillow. But yeah, yeah.
he didn't hump it, but
But the bad part of that was offset by the very clever thing they did because they did the horror movie shot in the closet. Like I legitimately thought, oh, the witches are in the closet already, and then who comes out of the closet?
Thora Birch.
Yes, her name is Danny.
Dang.
Very cute name. Um, Thora Birch, everyone knows. American Beauty, Ghost World,
Don't
arguably the most decorated actor in this entire movie. I mean, Bette Midler, I guess, or something. But yeah, yeah.
yeah, I would say the witches are probably all of them are probably ahead of her, but
The
or
Silver
I guess you're gonna get to him later, but Doug Jones.
Jones, although he's basically just a stunt actor. But get into that, I guess.
And also the Marshall siblings. But they're uncredited in the film.
Marshall, who's which Marshall?
Gary and Penny?
Oh, they're siblings. I thought they were daughter and dad.
Nope. Penny Marshall is Gary Marshall's sister.
She looks so much younger on Laverne and Shirley than he ever did. But moving on, get there, get the because that scene's very isolated. I want to talk about it on its own. So Danny's very sincere, happy-go-lucky. So Max resents her for it pretty much. He just wants to play the drums. I was actually very surprised how good his what do you call it, drum fill was. He didn't
Pretty
overdo
short,
it.
but yes, solid.
He probably actually like to play the drums in real life or something. But yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Uh, so he's forced by familial responsibility to take Danny trick or treating, so the parents can get incredibly intoxicated at City Hall. But we'll get there later, I guess. Uh, so yeah, I was gonna say this clever. It's not really clever. It's just good plotting, whatever. But they're trick or treating. Jay and Ice and a bunch of kids are stealing bags of candy from children.
Yeah.
So Danny flaunts that Max is with her, so surely he'll stop the candy theft. And what does Max do?
Does he even try to fight them? I can't remember.
No, but what he deliberately does is he takes her bag of candy and gives it to them to directly resolve the thing.
I
Yep.
mean, it's smart because they're gonna get the candy either way.
No, yeah, I thought it was very like good character behavior, and it sets up both the full story of their relationship and also the short term of what happens next. Because we get an incredibly short sequence where hates the brother, and the brother apologizes, and they're like, "Oh, okay, apology accepted." It, quick scene, yeah. But the reason they did that is because they got a little out of the way when she was upset, and then they see a ridiculously fancy mansion on a hill that goes horizontal. It looked ginormous,
Yeah.
but not like badly rendered or built set or anything. Just interesting. Anyway, what's going on here? Uh, oh yeah. So I if this was a different movie, I I thought they were I thought they were all racists because they go in the fancy house and it's a costume party with like revolutionary period costumes. Seem very gentrified. It seemed like a
Well,
Jordan Peele movie or something. But
in general, this whole movie, I don't think there's a single minority, is there?
I'm sure you could abstractly think something. I mean, Jewish people maybe, but moving on. I mean, I'm sure Henri Katz has to be Jewish with that name, but whatever. His parents aren't Jewish, so moving on. So, oh yeah, they did explain it though, because Allison is a history nerd because she lives in Salem, but also her mom works at the museum. So, movie again covers its tracks. Can't complain too much. And Allison wants to go to the Sanderson house because it's a good historical trek to go on, and that was very cute that Danny agreed. Only why did what does Danny get in order to agree to go to the Sanderson house? It's a promise.
I mean, yeah, I remember there was a promise, but I can't remember what it was.
Max will dress as Peter Pan, and Thora Birch will dress as Wendy next year for Halloween.
That's the sequel we should have gotten.
Yep, Hocus Peter Pan. I don't know. So I love the action set piece of this movie, and we get the first really big one. So they go to the Sanderson house, and Max wants to. I wrote Max wants to show off that he's a cynic rationalist king. he's very, he's very he's very into exposing the lies of Halloween or whatever. But he takes out his never explained very nice lighter and
That's why
light.
you know,
He has it, but why he has it, whatever. But he lights the dark light candle, and it summons the Sanderson sisters back to life. Also clever that they reveal he's a virgin after he did it, because it was like it made sense when you think about it, but they didn't like belabor the point or anything. But yeah,
yeah.
uh, uh oh yeah, so the sisters are going after Danny, which could have been a different horror movie, but and then what does Max do? The most clever thing in the whole movie, in order to save the day,
Turns on the sprinklers.
he lights the fire sprinklers. Very clever.
And I don't know if he knew that they would be very gullible, which is from the 17th century, but he said horrible melting liquid or something.
Yeah.
That they think they're dying, so they have a chance to get away.
And then Kat Thackeray, who now officially is Jason Marsden voice, no more NCIS voice for the rest of the movie, even when the little boy comes back at the end. But yeah,
Thankfully, they call him Binks instead of Thackeray or something.
I like both. I like both.
Just shorter, just
So the kids
better
take
cat name.
the spell book, which has a functioning eye in it.
Yeah.
Yep. And then they run away, And the cat,
Binks.
yeah. I'm sure this is maybe explained earlier, but the witches have to get the book back and cast their big spell to eat the children before the sun rises. Otherwise, they will die forever.
Yeah.
The cat takes them to the cemetery because it's hollow ground. Also clever. Uh, Max tries to light the book on fire, which doesn't work because it's a spell bound book thing. Also clever. How do the witches attack when they can't get in the cemetery? You kind of mentioned this before.
Oh, they resurrect Doug Jones,
Jones.
Billy Butcherson.
Yeah, Billy, played by Doug Jones, aka Guillermo del Toro's go-to. I have a monster. He has to wear a suit. Anyway, they go into a secret tunnel out of the cemetery, which a bit of a logic strain to me, but it was exciting set piece or whatever. So whatever. But, yeah. They come. This was close to my favorite scene in the entire movie because they bit of cross cutting things going. So plot a little out of order, but they come out of a manhole, and the cat gets run over by a bus. And Sanderson's get on the bus. I believe that's what happened. That the same bus
They were they ended up driving that bus because they
seduced that weird horn dog bus driver guy or whatever.
he's particularly into Sarah, which she is the pretty one of the three.
But then the reason it was cool is because Binks the cat is cursed to never die. It's part of the negative to his not dying earlier. And so he's like smushed on the ground. Everyone's crying. And like Omri Katz is like, I killed, it's my fault. No. And then the cat like inflates. It was very cool. Reminded me a lot of that. What was I gonna say? One of those guys does horror effects, whatever. But yeah, it was very very clever. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, there's like parallel action with the kids and the witches. But I want to do the witches part first, I guess. You mentioned it before. My favorite scene in the whole movie, just because it's so like isolated and funny and weird. Because it's also clever. Because they tell the bus driver, we want to go where the kids are. And the bus driver did not question that at all. The witches are like, we want children. And the bus driver's like, yeah, I know where the kids are. There's no.
He's smitten, so they'll do whatever they want.
So they go to the trick or treat thing. And what is the reaction the witches have to seeing the kids trick or treating?
Can't remember that either.
Oh, they're like, I don't know, because Kathy and Jimmy can has like a sixth sense for finding children or whatever.
She can smell them. She has this
She's like,
powerful sense of smell. Yeah.
it's so weird. I can smell kids, but there's a bunch of little adults here because they're wearing costumes. It's a very clever joke. But, yeah. And then, just by chance, Gary Marshall's dressed as Satan, and he's like, "Hey, come over here. I'll give you some candy." So I don't know. The most clever joke slash plot point in the movie is because the witches are, by their nature, disciples of Satan. The movie doesn't even go into that much. So they think, oh, Satan wants to talk to us, so we'll go talk to Satan and get advice on how to do his bidding and stuff. Oh, it was a really clever plot device, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it ended up kind of just being like a sketch more than a plot device, though. 'Cause they go into
There's
the... Yeah, go ahead.
we're gonna get to the second movie in a second or whatever, but the random adventures that go on the first one end up being a lot more entertaining than the second one. There are random to the second one's credit. They do random things, whatever. But
I
there's
don't
not
think
as
about the second movie. It made me sad during this awesome movie, but whatever, yeah. And then I just the comedic value of Gary Marshall being a horn dog who wants to dance with Sarah Jessica Parker, and then Penny Marshall as his wife, who is like rationally against this, but in a very like high comedy way. And then the best part, she sees him dancing with Sarah Jessica Parker, and then she sicks the tiny dog on them, and it totally works. Totally works. They just move on. Almost felt like a different movie. It was very slapstick, quick action stuff. Even Kathy and Jimmy watching the TV, and they did a fictional like commercial, I guess, where the
Yeah.
baby's flying across the living room with like loud music. It's like everything that seemed so silly. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Felt like they burnt a lot of their jokes there, but in a good way. Uh, See, the cat came back. Another very clever scene, kind of creepy in a way, because the kids find a cop and they're like, "Hey, you gotta help us," whatever. And then the cop's like, "Hey, you stupid kids, get out of here!" And then it turns out it's a guy in a cop costume.
Yep.
He's, he was cartoonishly good at portraying what you imagine for a racist Boston cop, but
Was he racist? No.
not racist, but okay, stereotypical cop, I should say, which would be stereotypically racist, but different podcast. Okay.
Yep. I mean, that's the plot of Let's Be Cops.
Yeah, but that guy was a better actor than not really, but it was he did do a really good job at making me think he was a cop.
Yeah.
Uh, so the kids finally, I guess, line things up to go to the big city hall Halloween party,
Mm-hmm.
and I liked how the parents didn't really believe the kids that much, but they were willing to listen to them. It wasn't just like, getting mad at them or whatever.
Yeah.
I liked I like my boy Charles Rocket's Dracula costume. It suits his body type very well, And then the weakest part of this movie for me, even as a kid, I didn't watch this movie because of this part, is the witches show up and they're gonna use their powers to get the kids. So they sing a song. It's basically just a prolonged riff on the Jay Hawkins song. I didn't like the song very much.
Oh, I disagree.
You like that song?
I mean, honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of the original I Put a Spell on You. It's fine. It's not like, oh my God, it's a great song. And I thought this version was really catchy.
Wow.
Um, and I think it was a really good plot device of because the rest of the movie is basically, the witch is chasing the three kids, and you're like, oh, at some point, their parents or an adult, other adults would help them intervene. But the song is a spell, and
Yeah.
or,
Yeah.
it's in the before she starts singing, it says, "I want you to dance till you're dead." And are you uh familiar with the Yeah 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 song Heads Will Roll?
No.
Oh, there's a lyric. Off with their heads. Dance, dance till you're dead. Heads will roll. Heads will roll.
Uh,
Okay.
uh, so yeah, there was some go between, but the kids are scared about what's gonna happen or whatever. And then this was also clever. Also felt like it just came out of nowhere and was kind of like too big an idea for kids to have. But Allison is like, I know what we're gonna do. We're gonna record our voices, put it in the kiln in the high school, and the witches are gonna go looking for us in the kiln, and then we'll just incinerate them and murder them. And I think it works, but do you think that was kind of abrupt for a Disney movie?
Uh, Yeah, I'm surprised they got that to work. Kind of to suspend disbelief that they could do that with 1993 technology so effectively.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, it would still be murder too, but
they're witches, so
yeah. Well, I mean, so they celebrate like they did it. The witches come back like in 2 seconds once they leave, but yeah, and also a little weird for a Disney movie because they didn't have sex, but Henri Katz and Vanessa, or I don't know why I didn't say their names, Max
Allison
and Allison, uh, they go to bed snuggling,
spooning, if you
hocus
will.
pocus after dark, literally. And and then kind of dumb thing they did because they killed the witches and they're like, I wonder what's in this book.
Well, they're trying to find a spell to help Binks out too.
Okay, yeah, they could have made that a little clearer because it looked like it was just like they were bored because they thought they won already and opened the book, but because the book,
Well, it's also stupid because I guess it's common in horror movies, especially like slasher movies, but Binks, who's the smartest, especially in terms of the lore of the witches and what to do and what not to do, he tells them, never open up that book, whatever you do, never, never, ever. And then he falls asleep and they just open the fucking book. It's just,
yeah,
you're a talking cat from the 17th century and you're dealing with witches. I would listen to that cat.
yeah. So yeah, the book has a glow when it's opened,
It's like a beacon, yeah.
which seems like kind of annoying. I'm trying to sleep. Can you close the book? Anyway, so the Sandersons get a direct bead on the house, and also, I guess to help them capture uh, Thora Birch,
Hmm.
Sarah Jessica Parker sings a song, which was also fine musically. Uh,
I mean, it's effective for the type of song they're going for, where it's like a evil lullaby to hypnotize children. There's nothing remarkable in it by any means.
yeah, just that's my opinion of every song in this franchise, but we'll get to that.
How dare you?
So yeah, and it's kind of spooky for another spooky thing in this movie because it hypnotizes every kid in town,
Yeah.
which gets confusing in the second movie, but we'll get there. To walk to somewhere, I guess.
So they end up at the cottage.
Yeah, the Sanderson house is always the focal point of the adventure in both movies. And speaking of focal point of adventure, we'll be back after a brief break. So not only are the kids walking to the Sanderson house to get sacrificed, but the Sandersons lock on to the homing signal in the book and kidnap Danny,
Hmm.
which is no good. Use a Sonic the Hedgehog reference. Uh, oh, sorry. And then they tie her to a chair in the Sanderson house to prepare her for sacrifice. Uh, what's the next clever thing uh, Max and Allison do in order to save Danny from the Sanderson house?
Uh, is when he drinks the potion.
No, that's the end of the movie. That's more of a sacrifice than a clever thing. But uh, they neither of them can drive, but they get a car and they drive haphazardly to the Sanderson house and they turn the headlights on to simulate a sunrise and to fool the Sanderson sisters into thinking they're gonna die, which completely throws off their mojo and allows them the baby faces to rescue Danny. Way too clever for a movie for a Disney movie, but yeah, for kids. But yeah, So they go back to the cemetery because that's safe. Uh, getting my, I'm gonna talk about this climax in my final review, but as it is, um, zombie Billy's there, but it turns out, despite the fact that the Sandersons wanted to use Billy as a pawn, Billy is actually a good person who, despite claims otherwise, was never interested in Winifred Sanderson romantically
Yeah.
ever. And then, so let me ask you a question here because I wasn't clear on this because the big crux of the end of the movie is that when if the Sanderson sisters have one vial of all the magic they have left to inflict upon Danny's soul to let them live again or whatever. Why were they losing so much magic?
Are they losing it?
Yeah, because they say this vial is the last magic we have.
Uh, I don't know. Were they able to make a batch of the potion earlier in the movie?
That's probably what happened. Because, like I said, it feels like every character at some point tips over the cauldron, but I think Omri Katz also did that at some point. Maybe in the climax that I missed it or something. With the
I think they were brewing when they saved Danny from the house. And they tip it over, I think. I don't know.
so yeah, so very very good set piece stuff, I suppose. Get into it in my review, but because Binks like does like a running jump to get up in the air, and he like punches the vial out, and Max catches it, and you mentioned it already, but he can't negotiate for Danny's life while there's still potion around, so he drinks it. In theory, allowing Winifred to kill him instead of Danny. And then they fight on the broom, and then the movie just kind of ends, kind of, because
Yeah,
when
very
it,
for a witch movie, it's very vampire-like that
well, obviously
happened
the
in
sun's curse or whatever, yeah,
John Carpenter's Vampires, for instance, where you find the big baddie and then he reveals sunlight to win.
yeah, because well, Winifred falls off the broom, and she turns to stone. The other two witches just sort of fade to dust when the sun
Yeah.
comes up, and Thackeray or Binks dies. But this time, when he dies, he dies. And
Happy death.
yes, because the ghost of Thackeray comes back, still with Jason Marsden's voice. No one say it. No one say his voice. Get away. We didn't mention that Jason Marsden is still arguably the biggest voice actor in cartoons. I mean, it's not the biggest, but certainly in a niche of Disney. He's still working now, but Goof Troop and Goof Movie and lots of stuff. But anyway, he gets to go to heaven. The sister who never acted again shows up. So yeah,
Yep.
very very baby face ending, and the movie just ends there. I mean, we didn't have a lot of plot threads to really end on, but we do get the mid credit sequence. What two things happen in the mid credit sequence?
I remember both of these. They reveal that the witch is also dying, ended the curse of the parents having to dance in City Hall. So they walk out like they're hungover, basically.
Yeah, and
And
then
then
yeah.
I think we skip this because no one cares about Ice and Jay that much.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
they're stuck in cage. They're still stuck in cages. So I guess there's three things because then they cut to the book and the eye opens, so the book's not dead.
And the book is, in theory, still searching for a hint of the Sanderson sisters. So maybe they'll come back in a sequel, which we'll discuss in 2 seconds. Uh, let's give our final scores for this movie. I'll go first on this one, and then I'll go second on the sequel. So, my review of this movie, it's fucking awesome. I like a lot of Disney Channel original movie or, you know, kids movies and stuff, but they lucked out in getting two excellent children actors in Omri Katz and Thora Birch, and I liked a lot of the casting. Uh, Honestly, my only real, and it's kind of controversial, I guess, character knock on this movie is the witches, because they were clever villains, entertaining enough as it was. I'm just not a big fan of having three-pronged anything, especially villains in a movie. I feel like kind of lost some of the depth, sort of floating between the three of them. They were fine. Honestly, I could have lost Bette Midler and done Kathy and Jimmy and the other one just because of the uniqueness of it. But and then the movie was, as I mentioned, a lot of very clever action movie things. My only complaint, and which really hurts this movie from being like a 10 out of 10, is the final climax with the graveyard. Kind of point out a flaw of this movie is that after a while, the set pieces just sort of like waiting around for more set pieces, and they stitch together, and it just like action movie, action movie, action movie, action movie. It's like,
Hmm.
what's over here? What's over there? What's over here? What's over there? And it's got very samey. So good movie, but lacked a certain emotional or narrative depth that got exposed at the end. So I'll give it a very hearty recommendation at 8 out of 10.
I guess I don't like as much as you did. You kind of you start off your review saying it's fucking awesome, and then you point out the flaws that are obvious. I don't know if I'd call this like a good movie in a conventional sense. To your point, it feels kind of haphazard, but it's a fun type of haphazard, I would say. They really bounce around very randomly. Whoever wrote this movie, it looks like it's Mick Garris and Neil Cuthbert. Story by David Kirshner and Mick Garris. Uh, it's kind of like, oh, this would be fun with witches. Ooh, this would be fun with witches too. Ooh, that'd be fun. And it kind of gets worse the more you think about it, I think. Uh, I don't think Bette Midler's buck teeth did her any favors. Uh,
It's a very arch comedic type in general with those
Her
characters,
accent's
but
kind of weird, and she's talking through the buck teeth, which I think are hindering her a bit. And then I brought it up earlier. I really didn't like Kathy and Jimmy's Bill Murray affectation thing.
oh, the way you said it sounded like a compliment. I like that thing, but whatever. Okay, yeah, yeah.
I thought she was kept overdoing it. Um, but it's a fun, campy thing to watch every once in a while. Fun Halloween party fair. Uh, you gave it an 8. I'll give it a 5.5.
Okay. So a big reason. I mean, I already like this movie. And yes, I also criticized it, but whatever. It was fun. Gary Marshall alone. But anyway, in hindsight, this movie gets a lot better because the sequel is kind of a mess. And I went so far as to note bad things that sequels do, which we'll get to throughout my little review here. So right away, Hocus Pocus 2, bad sequel thing that this movie kind of has in common with Exorcist 2: The Heretic, which is it's a very deep cut comparison. But when sequels to movies always like to give backstory to characters that didn't need it. The first movie's like, these witches are evil. It's Salem. It's very simple. We know what the Salem witch trial is. Let's move on. We get such an inane, quasi likable backstory in the sequel Because we go back to Salem, uh, just like the first movie, but now the Winifred Sanderson is having a bad birthday because uh,
16th birthday specifically, which is a foreshadowing for the plot in present day Salem.
yeah, shockingly, I have problems with. But so in the ancient times, we got this Reverend played by Tony Hale, who I think did a very good job in a kind of thankless, weird, multi-part role.
I preferred his mayor character a lot more to this character, but
I agree, but he was good. He's a good actor, so I was like, it was okay. But anyway, very convoluted setup because Winifred Sanderson is kind of evil, or at least a tempestuous child, and the Reverend's like, "Hey, you know what'll make everything right? Why don't you marry my son? That'll be cool."
I
And
mean, it's a time of arranged marriage, is it? That part didn't bother
I know,
me.
but just there's a theme in this movie. A lot of little intricate things that have to be explained or understood, and it sort of made them sympathetic, but they're still the Sanders sisters eating children. Okay, I mean, I don't want to do this whole, I don't want to do this whole review. So moving on. So because she won't marry this dude who doesn't want to marry her either, he's never addressed. But the girls get banished to the woods, and then might be my least favorite scene in the movie just because it was so random and needless. I guess it was because Hannah Waddingham of Ted Lasso fame really wanted to do a cameo in this movie because everyone loves Hocus Pocus, and she's a witch, and she's telling the Sanders sisters, "Hey, being a witch ain't so bad. I'll give you this magic book." And then she ghosts, and I think it was supposed to imply that she was cursing them or
Yeah,
something, but it just came off very
yes.
like,
That's
why do
also
we
foreshadowing for the rest of the movie.
why do we need an origin story for being a witch?
No, it's very poorly done. I mean, maybe, maybe I feel like this movie's more specifically geared toward teenage girls, which I just criticized the first Hocus Pocus or whatever a little bit, but at least that felt more broad appeal. And I think this movie is just bad, to be honest. This movie, uh, I got tired of young Winifred. The instant she came on screen, she just screams like uh someone who was thrilled to get it's like a someone who played Annie in the musical in school or something. I don't know. It's just
Yeah, I thought that again. I'm more interested in the other witches. I thought those kid actors were a little more fun to watch.
they
But anyway,
barely had any lines. It's hard to learn glean anything from the other two girls as
yeah,
youngsters before they became witches.
okay. So the Sandersons read the book. They get a spell that allows them to burn down the Proctor's house. So kind of this uncomfortable edge where like they're kind of anti-heroes, but kind of criminals. The movie does not know what they want them to be.
It's a fine build to what we see from the Sanderson sisters in Salem in the first film. It's fine.
I disagree. I disagree. But the first movie was a lot more arch based on tropes of witches. This felt a little more Wicked-esque, backstory-esque, heavy-handed.
Yes.
Yeah. So moving
I,
on.
I'm just saying it. I don't know. Yeah, whatever. I don't know why I'm defending it.
I
Moving
like how movies use things we know and moves on. It doesn't have to explain everything, but you know. So we get to the present day, which gets to sequel problem number two, which is kind of doing the plot of the first movie again, despite the fact that the first movie exists in the same universe.
This is
Because
the yes, this whole movie is very member berries of Hocus Pocus 1.
because despite the fact that the Sanderson witches came back in Salem and people witnessed it and things happened, we have a group of characters who do not believe that the Sanderson sisters came back in 1993 and summon them again. And that gets a little complicated as we'll get into, and gets very stupid. Uh, so I didn't like how, again, slightly convoluted, just a little bit, because we get these two girls who are into witch stuff, but they don't exactly believe in real witch powers. They're like Wiccans, but we don't want to say Wiccans.
I think they're Halloween fans just in general because
No, they have spells and magic rocks and stuff.
oh, because I thought they say every year they have a slumber party where they watch Halloween movies or something.
They have that too, but they also do what they do Wiccan ritual stuff.
I didn't
But
get that part because they're talking about that slumber party where they watch Halloween movies, and then they, like you say, buy all these magic rocks and end up doing a kind of spoiling a little bit towards the future, but do that
we get there.
do a thing in the woods.
Yeah. Well, that's more the Hocus Pocus canon plot. I want to talk a little bit about this preteen girly girl stuff that drives me crazy. Uh,
Yeah,
so we got Becca. Uh, Her name is Whitney Peak.
yes.
She was in Gossip Girl.
She's gonna be in the next Hunger Games movie or something, so good for her.
Yeah, it's a prequel, so I don't know anything about that. But yeah, I'm not gonna watch it. But she's sort of the boss of the two girls, a little sassy. And then we got Izzy, the chubby.
Because it's her 16th birthday. Ooh, just like in the
Yeah,
Salem
I barely noticed that. makes me think
parallels to Winifred, baby.
16th birthday makes me think of Ringo Starr, but yeah. So Izzy is the chubby, nerdy, nicer Latina sidekick. Her name is Belissa Escobedo. She was in Blue Beetle. I did see that.
And she's in that generic as hell looking Reba sitcom.
Did not watch that.
It's still on if you want to catch up.
And then this feels very much like Hannah Montana or something because they have a friend named Cassie, friend in quotes, because they used to hang out a lot more. By the way, Cassie is played by Lilia Buckingham, and despite being in this movie, her Wikipedia page is solely about her singing career and TikTok. Moving on. Uh, because Cassie used to hang out with the nerdy girls, but now she's got a football playing boyfriend uh, named
You see his,
Mike
you see his actor name?
Froy.
Freud.
He's the biggest actor of all these children because he was in Teen Wolf, the TV show, and he's in a Strangers sequel
Shouldn't
universe
giggle
thing.
because we're both half Mexican, and it looks like Froylan might be a. It's short for Froylan,
His name's Gutierrez, the actor, but yeah.
which because he said he's of indigenous Mexican descent. So maybe it's an indigenous name. So I apologize for giving that Froy, but maybe I shouldn't. I don't know.
I mean, it's weird, but what's wrong with having a weird name? Doesn't make you a bad person.
Just moving
Sorry.
on. Pocket's not about me. Moving on.
I like to defend people I don't know more than you. This is true. So yeah, like you said, the Becca's birthday thing has two prongs. It's very important. There's the horror movies, but there's also the dumb witchcraft stuff that's not real witchcraft, but we know that's not real witchcraft because we're cool kids. Uh,
Cool kids.
and very convoluted scene that did not. I guess it paid off in like a linear way, but uh, Becca's talking to Mike during class, and they both get like massive amounts of detention. At least Mike does. That was bizarre.
That was Mike and Becca. That was
Mike
a
is the football
Cassie.
playing boyfriend. Becca
Mm.
is the black girl who's the star of the movie or
Oh,
whatever.
I thought you said Cassie. I don't know. Sorry. Yeah, that
It wasn't a very good.
chemistry teacher. He pulled a quick
Wasn't
trigger there.
it wasn't a very transgressive crime. I wasn't watching the movie like, oh, that was bad. I was thinking,
I
okay,
actually I actually missed that. Well, I wanted to bring up in the first one. I forgot. There's a couple dirty jokes in the first one. Thor Birch's character Danny says that you like her. It's not magumbos, but it's a term for her boobs, and it says like
yeah,
you like her magumbos, right? She's got great magumbos, right? And then makes Max really embarrassed because Allison's right there.
yeah, yeah,
And then something, and I think it's Charles Rocket makes a joke about sex, some metaphor about sex or something. I don't know. Anyways,
yeah.
I feel like this movie felt a lot more sanitized. I mean, not that Hocus Pocus is Midnight Cowboy or something. I don't know. Insert raunchy American Pie. Uh,
Yeah,
uh,
Midnight Cowboy's not that bad, but whatever. But,
I switched to American Pie.
all right, I got it. American Pie Band Camp because they got the witches. I don't know. I'm moving on. So yeah, this movie. I don't know. Okay, so just get through the plot quickly. So the Becca and Izzy are walking home. We get introduced fully to Tony Hale as the mayor, easily the best character in the movie. Uh, who he looks like the Proctor from the old times. I bet that'll come up.
What?
Yeah, and I took me a while to catch up to this, but Cassie is his daughter, so it's awkward because the mayor likes Becca and Izzy, and Cassie's not really their friend anymore. It's like real life high school. Who cares? But whatever. Uh, anyway, Becca and Izzy go to the Sanderson house, but it's not the Sanderson house. It's a gift store for magic stuff. They're doing this thing again where it's like these are real magical artifacts, but we know they're not real magical artifacts.
I
It's
actually
like
thought of Gravity Falls, which is a great show. Watch it if you haven't.
Seuss. What's Seuss?
Should have been a Seuss in the shop. Although I guess in a way, Sam Richardson is well, he's not the same type of wacky as Seuss.
Uh,
Anyways, but
yeah.
it's kind of reminding me of that. That's it's a strange house of lies, but there's actual magic and weird stuff happening.
Well, in my opinion, the character that what's his name? Sam Jones?
Richardson,
Sam
he
Richardson.
plays
Gilbert the
Gilbert.
Great. So he kind of ruins the movie for me in a plot analysis level. But we'll get in a second. So Gilbert the Great is a mediocre magician. I'm calling it, but he's also a town lord Sanderson expert. So problem with sequels number 3.
Wait,
We're gonna have a scene where a character just summarizes all the stuff that you needed to know if you didn't watch the first movie.
Jeez,
Because
stop talking about.
did you know there were the Sanderson sisters in the old times, and then there was a curse, and then allegedly they came back in 1993, but no one believes it? uh, and then okay, this movie, but Gilbert gives Becca a candle for that birthday ritual they do in the woods where they light a candle. More of this wicked bullshit. But all right. Uh,
It was a weird looking candle, and so I don't give this movie a lot of credit because it's pretty bad, but I guess it was clever. I did not expect the black flame candle to be in hidden within the candle he gives her.
spoiler alert, but anyway, yeah. He gives him that candle, he claims it's special and whatever. Big uh like nitpicky fact error in the woods. Because they buy I think 2 candles or whatever in the shop. They go to the woods. Becca puts the candle in leaves. She lights the candle and the candle like fizzles
Hmm.
Doesn't work properly. And she's like, "Oh man, we were gonna start a forest fire, but she's lighting candles on piles of leaves. Dig a hole in the ground or get a plate.
Yeah, I
Only you
guess
can prevent forest fires." Smokey the Bear.
I'm disappointed this movie didn't have a thing saying,
Chromie the Witch. Only you, Brent.
okay, this is getting very surreal.
Go ahead.
They could have put a disclaimer at the end of the movie, uh, please don't light candles in the forest or something. Because I mean, kids are presumably going to watch this.
Yeah, because the nice candle's not any safer than the busted candle. Just science.
Just especially in our neck of the woods in California, the forests get very dry, so they're very if a spark happens in the woods, it's can explode on up very quickly.
So yeah, they light Gilbert's candle, the weird one. Like you
Yeah.
say, it's a good special effect because the light comes on perfectly in the black light and whatever. It's good effect. And turns out the Sanderson sisters are back. Woo. And then
What song do they sing and say they're back?
oh, I remember.
Oh, because
The
the bitch.
witches are back instead of the bitches back. This is my least favorite of all the songs, only because it reminded me of how personal about his drug problems Elton John's original song was, and this song is just like, uh, I'm a witch, and I do. It's like it's just it's meaningless. But they're back. Uh, Yeah, and it was the first song in the history of the franchise that did not have a spell or a plot purpose. So disappointing, but whatever.
I was afraid it'd be full wicked and have 10 bazillion songs throughout the whole movie, but
No, they,
I
they
think
actually they actually went back to the first movie and used spells again, but it was just but yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Uh, so this plot, so because just goes on. The Becca and Izzy, I guess they've established that Sandersons are very easily duped, but they just tell them, "Oh, we're witches too, and we just take a lot of kid power to look young." That's cool. And then probably my least favorite sequence in the movie from a visceral level, because and also it's just convoluted plot dialogue. But uh, you don't have to eat kids' souls. You know what you know what you should do. You should get lotion. Yes, lotion is this magical thing that makes you young. So what's the next scene that I mentioned being viscerally gross?
they go to the Walgreens and start.
Drinking lotion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is this because speaking of bad songs, it's not my favorite B-52 song, but I was pleasantly surprised Planet Claire was in this movie.
it's a good song, and yeah, it didn't really match the movie that well. I guess it's just because it's weird. I don't know.
Guess who directed this piece of crap? It was
He's a choreographer, I think.
Ann Fletcher.
No, that was the first one with the choreographer. I don't know what this guy. I don't know what Ann Fletcher was.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway, uh, so I guess Mary figures out that the kids are kids because by smelling them. I don't know what took her so long. Unless somehow the kids are exposed, and I thought this was just not as clever as the first movie. They knew that salt is good for witches, so they made a salt circle, and the witches sort of bounce off of it. It just felt like anticlimactic.
Doing the first one too.
I know, but the first one had great surprise, you know, MacGyver-esque plot things, like the fire sprinklers and the car lights and stuff. I mean, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Anyway, it was fine, I guess, but whatever. Um, Oh yeah, here's my biggest plot hole in the movie. So Gilbert sees that the book is like waking up again with the eye, so he unhooks it, and he gives the backstory that when he was a kid in 1993, he saw the Sanderson witches fly by, and he was like, "Oh my god, that's so cool! I want to meet the Sanderson witches." But
He is owner of an occult shop,
I know, but the Sanderson witches cast a spell that attempted to eat the children in town.
including him. Yeah.
Yes, so but he's like, "Oh, that's cool." Ugh.
He is rather dumb throughout the movie, so I guess it's consistent.
Okay, being dumb is not a great excuse for dumb things in movies, but like, whatever. Uh,
I don't know.
so it, so the Sandersons basically betray everyone. Well, they mostly betray Gilbert, but they also capture the children and throw them in the dungeon of the Sanderson house, which was almost as big as the Sanderson house. It looked like it was very big. I don't know if it was that big, but it was very big. Big
Yeah,
dungeon.
very big basement. Gotta give Salem, Massachusetts renovator a lot of credit.
Yeah, it's the pro- Thou Property Brothers. I don't know, whatever. uh, so it was, yeah. I don't want to. I don't want to
So
everything. What?
I was gonna help you get to the plot.
I know
So
the
from here
plot.
on out, Sam, or it's not Sam, that's the acronym. Gilbert has to
Gilbert, because
they Gilbert gets assigned by the witches to get the ingredients.
and they cast a spell on his own hourglass that he has a certain amount of time in order to get the ingredients, or he'll die or whatever.
If he dies, he dies.
A lot of parallel editing. This movie is a lot more disjointed in its cross streams than the first movie. Uh, oh my god, sorry, scrolling. Du-du-du-du. Oh,
So they get out by using the girls get out from the basement by using the incense that Gilbert tells them earlier in the film is lucky.
yeah,
And
yeah. But before that, I think so. My God, where is this going? Sorry. Uh,
I'm trying to help you.
Yeah, but Gilbert has a list of errands. Is that
Yes.
first or is this?
It's kind of all at the same time. He starts getting the ingredients and then the girls
All right,
escape at
let's
the
do the
same
Gilbert.
time.
Do the Gilbert thing real fast. So, one of his things, he goes to Billy's grave. So Doug Jones is back. It's Billy. T-shirt's too tight, Billy. Uh, they both hate the Sandersons. Sequel problem number 4. You get a line like, "You know the Sanderson sisters? Well, they're back now." He said that. Sam Worthington said
Yeah.
that, or whatever his name is.
This movie has bigger problems, but you know.
Yeah, it was kind of, yeah, it's really not that bad, but whatever. Gilbert tells Billy another convoluted thing that, oh no, see this list, it's not for a spell to help the Sandersons. It's a list of things to kill the Sandersons. So Billy's like,
I'm
okay,
invited.
no further questions. I'm gonna get all these ingredients, and then so this is actually a bad special. Well, whatever. The girls call Cassie on their phone, but the phone is blocked by the curse of the witches. So Cassie just sees a black screen. Oh, the horror!
Yes, because and then the girls, like I said, use the
Yes,
magic incense to make a recreate the ladder that goes into the basement.
they happen to have leaves that are good at removing curses.
Because he tells them, "Here, take some free incense. It'll help you out if you need it." And
Fine.
so on a whim, they try it because they have no other option to try something.
Instead of no steps to a Deus Ex Machina, you have one step to a Deus Ex Machina. But whatever. So the Sanderson sisters are really bad at looking for the mayor because that's the one thing they want to do: get the blood of the mayor for the curse. So they go to the Halloween festival where the mayor's not there, and then what do they get distracted by for no reason?
To the festival?
In the festival, yes. What's in the festival?
The girls or
No. Sorry,
the
I'll just say it. It's a
the witches
Sanderson
get?
look-alike contest,
Oh, yeah.
and they spent a lot of, I mean, not a lot of time, but it was kind of just boring because they're convinced they're gonna win because hey, there's this, and then it turns out some random people who don't look at all like the Sanders sisters. There were other people who looked more like the Sanders sisters than the people who won. I don't know if that was the plot, the point of the movie or not, but
Yeah.
and then they did the song, which
What was it
I
this
don't
time?
like
It was
one way or another,
yeah.
like
It's
Blondie.
like one way or another is a better song than I Put a Spell on You by the original versions of those songs. But I Put a Spell on You, Bette Midler is better than one way or another, I Bet Midler.
I'll agree that this song was pretty bad, but at the same time, it made sense because they're looking for the mayor. I wasn't that entertained because it was very obvious, and the song
Before
went
we
on
go
way
to
too long, way too long,
Yeah, okay. Before we go to
way too
break,
long.
before we go to break, I want to make one point. But I also think in the first movie that using this song to make the parents dance till they're dead was more clever than this time, where the song was used to find the mayor.
Especially because what happens when they look for the mayor with the song, which we'll get back to in 10 minutes or so
Stop saying the time.
after this short break. Welcome back from the break. So, as we're talking about the song, one way or another, I want to say a low key, controversial thing, which is I've never been a big fan of that song in general, so it didn't bother me as much. But anyway,
Hmm. You don't like Blondie?
I like Blondie. That one way or another song is just so generic. Different podcast. So
Yeah, I'm glad this podcast on musical taste because you're 0 for 2 on musical taste from these movies.
I like the Screaming Jay Hawkins song, and I also like the movies we talked about with Screaming Jay Hawkins in it more than you did. So I'm all over the place. uh, moving on. So it's I think there's a little bit of a parallel editing thing, but I want to finish talking about the one way another song because, like I mentioned, Sanderson sisters they went to the Halloween carnival that the mayor wasn't at, looking for the mayor, and then they left the Halloween carnival, and the mayor shows up, and in fact, the song resolves itself. The mob finds him one way or another while singing and then disperses when they find him. And the witches don't benefit at all from their own spell. I guess it's supposed to be funny, but it wasn't like inherently hilarious.
Kind of a red herring, I guess, because it did have a grander effect than the first one, I guess. But
Yeah. And then they do a very slapsticky joke that was not funny because they try to set up a runner where it's like the mayor really wants this caramel apple, the caramel, and then he gets it, and when the mob circles him, he drops it, and he can't get another one. Oh my god! The humanity!
uh, his frustration actually does help with the plot.
It's kind of funny, but yeah, it does. Yeah, you're right. It does. We'll get to that right now, actually, because we got to talk about his brood, his child. We kind of brushed over it a little bit because this movie doesn't care that much about things. But Cassie was having a rager at her house with her football boyfriend and friends and stuff. And because of the girls and the mayor, she got busted. So she has to clean the house by herself and her boyfriend's there. And so the girls go to Cassie's house and it's just these girls need to communicate better because it's kind of stupid if you think about it too much because the girls thought Cassie didn't want to hang out anymore because she's hanging out with the football team and Mike and stuff. But Cassie thought the girls were ghosting her because they didn't like her. It's like one conversation could have solved all your problems. This happens in movies a lot, but still.
Yeah, it's probably the performances weren't that great either. They weren't, but I did kind of that probably was the biggest problem. But I felt like the dynamic in the first one where it's a guy and a girl the same age plus the younger child worked better than three girls of the same age.
Yes.
But it's this movie's particularly aiming for Coven versus Coven. I swear this movie's aimed for teenage girls,
Spoiler
which makes
alert.
it harder to watch for both of us. Uh,
There ain't no coven of teenage girls yet. Uh,
well, Practical Magic, or no, no, I'm sorry, the what's the Nev Campbell witch movie called?
no, I know. This movie hasn't given us the coven of teenage girls yet in the plot. Whatever. Moving
We're
on.
getting there, but yeah, I kind of spoiled it, I guess. But
So on a scale of 1 to 10, I want you to rate this joke. Because Mike's like, hey, I've never made fun of anyone in my life. All I do is point out things you do and say they're weird. And the girls are like, yeah, that's called making fun of people. And then Mike's like, oh my god, I'm such a jerk. 1 out of 10, how funny is that?
uh,
It was low for me.
it's been executed similarly in a funnier fashions in other films. That type of joke where the idiot has to get something simple spelled out to him so he gets it. Uh, I, that's what they're going for with Mike's character and his humor.
Yeah,
Uh, but I don't think it was executed well. So attempt to be funny and give it a negative number. I'll say one. I don't know. It's
'cause
bad.
honestly, if you compare it, not so much in this movie, but Kathleen and Jimmy and Sarah Jessica Parker in the first movie, they did dumb humor a lot better than Mike in this movie. It was very safe, teenage, cool kid who's dumb as opposed to hilarious sketch character, in my opinion. That's most of the characters in this movie, honestly. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. All right, so. Oh yeah, so the mayor comes home. Oh wait, sorry. This gets so convoluted. So the witches followed Mike. For some reason, the witches got a beat on the Cassie's house for the mayor's house.
Uh, yes, they do end up there because they end up being in a salt circle in the garage.
Yeah, I know. Just remember. Okay, yeah, yeah. I was gonna get to that part. They get there, and yes, that not only is it not that clever to use salt circle again, they did it earlier in the movie. Come on.
This movie's not rich with ideas, okay?
You can have two ideas. Even I was gonna make some dumb joke, but whatever. Crappy musician had two ideas. Ringo Starr had two ideas. There you go. Ringo Starr's not that bad. Moving on.
Okay. Yeah, I don't get that. Moving on.
I just watched a video by Ringo Starr. So
You said I had two ideas.
oh, you wall. Uh, uh,
In in England, they call fries chips.
so the mayor comes home without his apple. Like you said, it doesn't build a little bit of plot because he's upset. He thinks the Sanderson sisters are a Halloween costume and refuses to act on the suspicions of the girls. Not as clever as the cop scene from the first movie, but fair plot. Uh, and then I did not remember this in the movie at all. Even if I did, I don't think I would have liked it. So Kathy and Jimmy,
Mary.
I'm sorry, Mary. You see, whatever. Uh, talk to some Roombas.
Oh, yeah, they were it's actually it's a joke you didn't mention in the first one that's carried on in the second one where uh Winifred gets they fly around in both movies. In
Yes.
both movies, Winifred gets a broom, traditional. Sarah gets gets something close to a broom,
She gets the
some
vacuum cleaner. I remember that from the first movie.
vacuum in the first one and a mop in the second one, or vice versa.
Must have been a Well, why were they Roombas though? I don't remember
No,
Roombas.
I think Mary got the vacuum in the first one.
Okay, where do the Roombas come from?
I'm
Let's move
getting
on.
there in because they get their flying devices in the CVS or in the Walgreens. Uh, Winifred gets a broom, Sarah gets something close to a broom, and the closest thing that Ken and Jimmy can find to a broom is Roombas.
So the Roombas were gone for a while, and they found her.
Yeah, for some reason they ditch them, and then I don't know, they use a spell to get the Roombas to find them, what the Roombas do and
Okay.
eat
Best
the
case that
salt.
was convoluted, but whatever. Yeah, the Roombas. So anyway, after all that, the Roombas suck up the salt,
Yeah.
and then the witches are like, hey, I'm sure there was a plot thing you're gonna explain, but they figure out that Cassie is also the blood of the mayor, so they kidnap Cassie and not the mayor.
Yes.
That was kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't remember how exactly that happened. In the ensuing scuffle. Maybe maybe the mayor left because he was frustrated. I don't know. I don't remember.
So before the climax of the movie, we sort of cut back to Gilbert the Great and Billy the Fine on
Billy
their
the
ingredient hunt, and Gilbert reveals that the last ingredient is Billy's head, which he removes from Billy's body and runs away, and the head starts talking and cajoling the body to follow the sound. These are things that just sound wacky but aren't that funny.
well, because it happened in the first one.
Yep. Sequel problem number infinity. Uh, so the witches take. This is kind of like the first movie. We get our boom boom pow set piece du jour. Not as good as the first movie. Shocking, I know. So the witches take Cassie to that clearing they've been using for every shot in the movie. It's like
Mm,
it looks like the same clearing from the 1600s now. Anyway, um,
yes.
they start using the ritual to sacrifice Cassie and get their witch powers. And then this is the jump the shark moment, literally. Not literally, but Becca's hands start glowing blue because she's a real witch. What?
Yeah.
Considering she spent so many years as a fake Wiccan witchy witch, it was just bizarre.
Yeah.
Uh,
Just she's similar to the rest of them because 16th birthday. I don't know. Yeah.
yeah, you're right. A better movie would have explained that better, that she had a lineage to the Sanderson curse or whatever. Uh, and then another thing just seemed dumb to me is she's able to talk to the book because she has witch powers, and the book's like, "Hey, I'd rather go with that witch because that witch is nice." So the book
Mhm.
decides to go with Becca because the book's this great character everyone likes. uh, and they have she has electricity zaps, but they're not as good as the witches zaps. And they do a thing where Lizzie, it's kind of lame, honestly. Lizzie pulls Cassie from the witches because Becca's doing the electricity thing, It's a little rent action movie thing. And then they learned the lesson of sisterhood. And that's in the top two hoods. Because Becca can't focus her full powers, but when she holds hands with their girlfriends, they get full witch powers. And they build a force field that blocks the Sanderson powers.
Yep.
So I think I may have missed a step or two in here, but the Sandersons are able to finish the spell.
The Master Magica Maxima spell that Hannah Waddingham warned a young Winifred never to use in
Right.
the movie.
Because she gets her big powers, and honestly, not a great special effects shot. She's like, "Oh, this town, you gotta better be afraid of me." And then cut to shot of a lightning bolt. Yeah. And then she's got all this power, but then the other two sisters disappear.
Because the book said a warning that you'll lose something you love if you
Yeah, and
use a spell.
that was also convoluted because it was something that was revealed during the spell that Winifred couldn't read because the book was with Becca now. Everything in this movie is like a little more explanation than necessary. Uh, so yeah, but the losing the sisters is a good generic plot twist. I mean, it was really interesting. Uh, Winifred's like, I want my sisters back. I don't even want powers. So the teen girls look in the book and they cast a spell. But what's the twist about the spell?
They can't bring the dead witches back. They can only dead Winifred.
Exactly. And Winifred has her big baby face moment, which I am not a fan of based on the first movie, but she's like, oh, thank you so much for all your help. You coven of young girls, you are a blessing. Winifred Sanderson, what happened? And so she fairy dust dies, and then Billy forgives Gilbert for being a lying sack of shit,
He
and,
dies.
and he also dissolved dies and is finally at rest. And Gilbert promises to tell people that Billy was never Winifred's boyfriend. That felt incredibly specific thing to promise to tell people, but I guess it's kind of a joke. I don't know.
Because he kept he yeah.
No, I know what you mean. Like, because Billy had to defend himself a lot in this movie. It was not very. It was just overly repeated, honestly. But yeah. So I know what you mean. Uh, Gilbert goes back to his shop, and it's kind of like, uh, yeah, things are gonna be very similar, but I'll be nice now or whatever. Whatever. And the girls say they're gonna buy more generic witch crap at the Gilbert store, so that's cool.
And they'll use book, but I guess do it more carefully. Maybe it's gonna be the plot of the third one.
Yeah. And they do the like Laverne and Shirley walk for avowed no reason at all because
They're
it's
besties now
funny.
again.
And and hey, we're gonna go see Susan because we didn't even talk about that great running joke that Lizzie's mom is known as Susan. Hilarious. And roll credits. So, uh, God, this mid-credit scene is my worst, maybe my least favorite scene in both of these films. What happens in the mid-credit scene?
Can't
It's
remember.
forgettable. It's not a plot thing.
Go ahead, just
Sorry. They do that thing they did in 90s movies where they take the actors and put them in a studio and they sing the witches back again. It was the same exact recording.
yeah.
It
They're
was
very proud of
bad.
him.
So, oh, we didn't even talk about the cat. cat was weird.
Says cop up. He's barely in the movie. What's there to talk about?
I know, but here's the thing: the first movie gave us a great character named Thackeray Binks, who was a sentient cat who helped people. This cat looks just like Thackeray. In fact, the witches think he's Thackeray, and then it turns out he's just a normal cat.
Just look at book when the girls are looking for it.
Yeah, and then so what's the big reveal with the cat in the post-credit scene?
There's another black candle.
Yeah, that was lame. Just the fact that they had to write backup Black Candle number 2 on the box. It's not movie making.
Gilbert could have written that before because he desperately wanted someone to light a black candle.
So obviously, even more than the first movie, the vessel for the witches to come back is just like right there.
Uh,
So, God, it was more fun talking about this movie than watching it. You can go first on your score.
Not much to say. For some reason, this has a higher Rotten Tomatoes score than the first one, which shows you that I feel like Rotten Tomatoes now is more of an apologist than for modern film than it is for older film. Uh, because there's not a lot here. I guess maybe reviewers think it's more groundbreaking with the girls. All the three main characters are three girls instead of a boy in there in the first one. And to this film's credit, there's a lot more minorities. Like I said, there's not a minority found in the first one. Um, like literally. But other than that, it's an homage to the first one, but not in a great way. And the new things kind of stink. Songs are worse. Uh, some of the things make sense to me, so it's not a one or a negative or a zero, but it's pretty close. Well, let's throw out 2.5, and I don't want to talk about this movie anymore.
Yeah, I think it speaks to the obvious thing, the similarities in plot overlapping in the quote unquote protagonists, although they're supposed to be the villains, which gets muddled in this film, especially at the end. Anyway, uh, the existence of the first movie pretty much negates the need to watch this movie. Only recommend it to people who maybe identify. I don't. I just feel like there's. Yeah, I was gonna say identify with tween girl stuff, but I've liked movies with tween girls in it a lot more than this. Can't think of exact examples, but plot's convoluted as to hell. Negates the spirit of the first movie and the spirit of evil witches in general. Very like backstage Broadway self-congratulatory movie cameo filled mess. I don't know. The 10 thing's kind of meaningless because I agree it's not as bad as what did I say was a zero? Oh, the Exorcist. It's not as bad as that. 3, probably worse than that. Don't watch it. All right. First movie, excellent, especially for kids. Omri Cats for President. Okay, Marcus, we got the last Halloween show coming up at some point in the ensuing week. So what are we watching?
We'll take our however many viewers. I'll say dozens of viewers and be optimistic. Uh, a little journey backstage to discussions me and Jason have about this podcast. If you recall, last week the movie I picked was Sinners, and right after we went off air, like whatever, off air, yeah, that's fine. I told Jason, should I change this to a certain film? Because I've told the audience before, vampires are my favorite horror subgenre. And so, what film that do you remember? What you probably do remember? Do you remember what film I suggested we possibly do instead of Sinners?
I have to assume it's Andy Warhol's Dracula. I don't remember.
Oh, I thought you remember. One of Catherine Bigelow has gone to win Oscars, but
Oh
before
yeah.
she did, in the 1980s, she directed a vampire western with Bill Paxton, Lance Henriksen, and others. So we're watching that. And for people who want to watch it before the next episode, you'll have to watch it on YouTube. It's not streaming on any streaming service.
Near Dark, as was referenced in Eleanor Leonard's Get Shorty. Maybe I'll share that anecdote next week. That's a reason to watch or listen. So until then, Get Shorty is a pretty good book. I think the book's better than the movie. Also, Near Dark on.
Happy Halloween. I guess we'll record before Halloween, but I don't think we're releasing that one before Halloween.
Oh yeah, that's true. So we didn't technically do a horror movie, but it's a good
Eh.
capper to the theme because Hocus Pocus was pretty silly. So anyway, Near Dark, near the end of Halloween. Till next time on Twin Bill. Book me on your shows, or let's be best friends and hang out. Maybe I don't know.